HOPELite, which will be an open source humanoid with semi-dexterous hands, which means 16 degrees of freedom spread across 4 fingers and a thumb. It's not quite enough to achieve human level dexterity. You need probably another, possibly even 8 or 9 actually, if you really get into the thumb. And you could have a couple more for the wrist as well. On this one, the wrist is direct drive. That's yaw, that's pitch, that's rotation, that's elbow, that's humeral rotation, and up here you've got pitch and yaw. So it's 7 degrees in the arm if you include the wrist, and then 16 in the hand. And that's enough for mobile manipulation. Let's just delete it. I did have one of the robot nano hands on here. It's a bit big. Let me show you what that looks like. So that's what a robot nano hand looks like. So I'll get rid of the artwork while I pop this on. So that's the guts of the robot as it stands. Plenty of detail work to go, of course, but at this stage I'm just making sure that things can fit, and then you kind of have to trust that when you come to turn it into high detail, it all still fits. So assumptions are made, and the trick is that they not be fatal when you get to the end. So that's a robot nano hand. There we are. And you can see how out of scale that would be, which is not a killer. If I run out of time, I could go back to it and I might try someone anyway actually, but I really want this thing to be capable. So 16 degrees of freedom in the hand alone, fingers and thumb. That should make it capable of doing stuff, because it has to be able to do stuff, otherwise what's the point of it? And yes, one day it'll step off the hoverboard. For now though, it'll all be integrated. And the other constraint is I want it to fit in standard walk-on aircraft cabin luggage. So when it's all folded up, that is the internal space. It has to fold down and fit inside that. So I'm not 100% convinced it'll do it when it's got the outers on. And particularly the helmet's going to be an issue, so the helmet might have to go separate. But yes, the helmet clearly will, unless it can be made to fold down. But that's a lot of work, so we shall see how we get on with that. But the rest of it will. The rest of it can fold down and will fit inside that volume. And that's important to make it easy to use, easy to show, easy to transport. The aim is you just unzip the suitcase, it pops out, it turns on, it stands up, and it starts talking to people and doing stuff. That's what we're after. This is based, in fact it's a direct derivation of the standard open arm, which is fully published now. So this will be released mid-December. And so I want to have a, and by released I mean that there's a fully working prototype, with the caveat that I don't know how much of the software will be running. My goal is to get it to the point where it's easy to put software on it and start to get it to do stuff. And that with very little underlying knowledge of why you've done things a certain way, you can keep it running. That is the aim. Build it, keep it running, experiment experiment on it. And I think he can do it for under £2,000. So that's exciting. So that is what I am working on at the moment. A derivation of a standard open arm, a reworking of the robot nano hand kind of crossed with the Dex hand, semi-dexterous capability. So it's actually a brand new hand when you think about it. So yes, I said I wouldn't, but I am, obviously, because that's what I like doing. I am designing the HOPELite hand to go on this robot. Semi-dexterous, 16 degrees of freedom across my fingers and my thumb, 4 fingers, so you can use direct video imaging for training. Capable of picking stuff up, doing things. You need to add some kind of sensorization to it as well, some kind of force feedback. Simple one I think will just be that the last 2 joints, or rather the last joint, the last 2 segments of the finger, will just be sprung loaded and just measure that displacement, and then possibly fit a camera over some coloured gel to get texture. There's a lot of stuff you can do very cheaply now. So emphasis is on low cost, ease of assembly, cable clearances, ease of printing, ease of maintenance, transportability, coolness. That's why it's going to look good. It's going to look good. And it can look like anything as well, actually. In the full implementation, the geometry will link automatically to a Gen AI 3D model generator. So you don't make it look like anything. And it will fit on top. That's the goal with this one. Oh, and the personality. The personality will know how to build it. The personality which ends up inhabiting this thing, this robot, will know how to teach you how to build it. This, then eventually more things. An AI linked to a community of people. And we'll want to go and build wonderful robots and make the world a lovely place. Coming soon.